Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Saturday, September 3rd, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Ardian Kodra, a police officer in the Rapid Intervention Forces, was killed yesterday by a person with mental disabilities and will be buried as a hero. The president of Albania, Bujar Nishani, declared the murdered police officer a hero of the nation and will be honored with the Golden Eagle Medal, which will be given to his relatives during the funeral. The funeral service for the hero is being held in Shkodër from 1700 to 1900 today. The murdered police officer will be buried in Shkodra cemeteries. Today, President Bujar Nishani and Prime Minister Edi Rama expressed their condolences to the police officer's family and relatives. My deepest condolences for the police officer's death. I feel deep pain for the police officer's early death. I condemn the act that took a police officer's life. Our state should ceaselessly work against crime, said the president. The Prime Minister said, "We all pray that Ardian Kodra rests in peace. My deepest condolences to his family and friends." Minister of Foreign Affairs Dietmar Bushati attended the informal Ministers of Foreign Affairs of the EU meeting, which was held in Bratislava. The head of Albania's diplomacy expressed our country's support for addressing the common security challenges in the fight against terrorism and radicalism. Minister Bushati stressed the importance of establishing a regional center for the fight against violent extremism in Tirana, with the participation of representatives from across the region and with EU support. Speaking on the impact of the judicial reform, Minister Bushati said he hopes that it will mark a new step in the process of Albania's ascension into the European Union. Minister Bushati declared economic growth and security cannot be achieved without justice. Albania has adopted a comprehensive judicial reform, which we hope will mark a new step towards the accession process into the EU. It will also serve as a model for other aspirant countries. Implementation of the reform is very important, not only for the rule of law in economy, but also for the fight against corruption and organized crime. Several ministers of foreign affairs from other aspirant countries also participated in the ministerial, where Turkey, the crisis in the Ukraine, EU's global strategy, and talks with the candidate countries about the fight against terrorism and radicalism were among the discussed subjects. The Albanian government will set up an agricultural support fund of 300 million euros. Prime Minister Rama discussed the government's steps towards increasing support for the agricultural production with Lushnija farmers. The steps being increasing the number of people who are subsidized, removing the value-added tax on imported production machinery, or reimbursing the VAT for agricultural products. Prime Minister Rama spoke about a new government financial plan called the National Guarantee Fund, where in collaboration with the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development and commercial banks, up to 300 million euros will be made available over the next 3 years. The Prime Minister declared the National Guarantee Fund will also operate as a guarantee fund for interest. A part of the fund guarantees the interest. Those who receive the loans from banks, depending on the projects they have, will get the loans free of interest because the state will guarantee the interest. On the other hand, we are setting up unique information offices for the farmers so they have the opportunity to be informed, consulted, and assisted for funding their projects. Currently, 50 million euros are available for appropriate projects for farmers and investors in agriculture, according to the head of Albania's government. Rama stated, a new project for irrigation and drainage will start in a few weeks. The installation will begin in areas that include a good part of the Lushnija areas and a part of Fier. The new irrigation system will better manage the irrigation water thanks to a 2-year project made possible in part by World Bank, which will be implemented starting today, the Prime Minister said, adding that the property title problem will be solved as soon as possible. The director of the Democratic Party's Security Department made a video public today showing cannabis plants planted in an area he claims is only 2 kilometers away from Rennes Airport. The Democratic Party official considers the government's anti-cannabis campaign to be a show. The Democratic Party is claiming that the Minister of Interior only destroys the cannabis parcels for which he has not taken a bribe. The Director of Security stated, "The Prime Minister and the Minister of Interior give ridiculous anti-cannabis shows. We all know that operations against cannabis are only for show. 50,000 cannabis plants are planted only 2 kilometers from Rinas Airport. The Albanian people should rise against this crime and drugs regime," he said. Meanwhile, in other media outlets, the Democratic Party spokeswoman accused the government of plunging the country into poverty and killing people's hope. She referred to the International Labor Organization's report, which she says notes that Albania is the 3rd highest country in the world where the youth want to leave their country for a better life. The spokeswoman stated the Prime Minister promised 300,000 jobs, but unemployment has increased. The youth's trust in the government has decreased. Foreign reports say Albanian youth want to leave Albania. The youth's desire to leave Albania is because of unemployment. Albania will be better without Edi Rama. According to the Democratic Party, the only jobs in Edi Rama's government are the ones of cultivating and guarding hashish. Tirana's municipality began the reconstruction of a new school in the Kombinat area, the 2nd school to be reconstructed within the reconstruction project for the 20 schools in the capital. Tirana's mayor, Ariane Villiers, inspected the work that started and stressed the importance of this project. "I'm glad that this is the 2nd school which will be reconstructed as part of the reconstruction project. We will continue with schools reconstructions during the year. This is the only way we can eliminate teaching with 2 shifts," said Villiers. According to the mayor, it's hard to have good citizens in a dignified Tirana tomorrow if children do not have normal conditions in educational institutions. Therefore, in his opinion, a radical change is important, and it can be achieved with the help of public-private partnership. "The time has come for a radical change, so we will continue public-private partnerships for constructing the 20 schools around Tirana. Once the company finishes the reconstruction, we will begin to pay installments. This approach has proved successful in many countries around us. It is time to move forward with this project," said the mayor. He also announced that investments in the Kombinat area will begin next month. The opposition's candidate for Dibra's mayor met today with some residents of villages near Dibra, where he accused the ministers of finance and energy of corruption and abuses for the Skavisa hydropower. While presenting his program, the opposition's candidate promised that offering better service in cleaning, roads, and irrigation will be amongst his priorities. City Hall has the opportunity to complete some small projects which are important for you with the budget that it has. The Prime Minister does not have the will to support the city of Dibra. "We will clean the city of Drini River of pollution. The existing system will be completely efficient by the upcoming spring," declared the opposition's candidate, who considers the arrival of the Minister of Finance and Energy as an insult to Dibra's citizens. After the increases in energy prices and the corruption with the Skavisa hydropower. The opposition's candidate said that the drinking water remains a problem for these areas and that he has begun negotiations with the German bank for developing and implementing projects in this regard. The majority's candidate for Dibra's mayor also held some meetings with residents of the surrounding Dibra villages. He promised to be fair with the distribution of economic aid without making differences among the citizens. "I can say with full conviction that the economic aid will go to the people who need it most," declared the majority's candidate, who also met with some veterans to whom he promised to reconstruct the Heroes Cemetery, along with the road that connects the city and the cemetery. During his meetings, the majority's candidate promised to invest in the road network and good standards for road construction. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.